Hey guys, it's Regina. Thanks for joining me on my channel, Free From Fear. If you'd like to take a second to like, subscribe, share, feel free. Um, I would really recommend it. Thanks in advance. So I just wanted to come on here tonight to just talk for a minute. I'm going to talk about health. So, health is very important, right? And physical health, mental health, especially mental health for me, and spiritual health. That is all very important things to be, a complete person, to live a valuable life, in my eyes, in my opinion only. And I say that to say, so I want to talk about health for a minute, especially physical health. So I wanted to make this video a couple days ago, but life kind of got in the way of that. I am a mom of 6. 4 are doing virtual learning right now, and that is definitely a task. During these uncertain times of COVID. So I finally got some time now to sit and just, talk about it. So, welcome. Again, health is important. And so I just say that more than once to reiterate that it really is important for us to be, complete individuals. And wanted to talk about it because I had been putting off my physical health for a very, very long time. I'm 30. The last time I actually saw a primary care physician, also known as a PCP, was when I was about 21. So going on 10 years now that I just let that go to the wayside. And honestly, if I'm being completely transparent, it was really because I didn't care about myself. So if you've seen videos from my channel, I definitely suffer with mental health issues, And growing up, I've suffered since as far back as I can possibly remember. So in my younger years, I have thought about, suicide ideation. And there was a time that I was very, very close to that. And so as I got older and I had children and everything, and that ideation has never really went anywhere. But my children make it so where I feel like I have a purpose and I'm here to stay. Now don't get me wrong, when I get in some of those depression episodes and it's really tough for me, I still absolutely think about it. But I also know how to bring myself back to reality and to know that, I am needed, I am loved, I am cared for. And, that helps a bunch, but, sometimes we still have our times. Anyway, I say that to say, so I used to think about roundabout ways instead of just full on doing something to myself. So in my mind, it was, well, if I never go to see a doctor, who cares? Then maybe I'll die and it'll be some type of health issue. Then it really wouldn't be my fault, right? No, that was really not a good way of thinking. So this year, like I said, I finally got with a PCP. And, I'm just making it aware that our health is important. Back in 2013, I was pregnant with my 3rd child. And there was a lump in my neck, right in this area. It had just came up out of nowhere, and it was painful to swallow. It took up a lot of the space. So now this area fluctuates. So ever since then, that time I did go to the emergency room. They thought it was some type of fluid. So they tried to take this really big needle and grab some of the fluid. However, once they inserted the needle, it was not fluid, it was tissue. So then I guess they were a little worried. Mind you, this is all in the ER. I didn't have a regular doctor at the time. And so they told me, I think you should go see an oncologist. I think you need to go to your primary provider so they can give you a referral to an oncologist. So as I left that area, it went away. So at that time, I was like, nothing's wrong with me. I feel fine. I'm not going to make an appointment to the oncologist because, again, in my mind, if I pretended something wasn't real, if I pretended something wasn't happening, then it wasn't real. And so, out of sight, out of mind, you know what I mean? So that was my logic. Anyway, throughout the years, so it's been about 7 years since that first incident, and throughout the years it has come and gone numerous times, and it wasn't really that bothersome. It was an eyesore for sure, and I didn't like it. It was a little tender to the touch, but recently, a few weeks, about a week or so, maybe about 2 to 3 weeks ago, actually, it came back with a vengeance. It was very painful, and then I was having issues sleeping. And so I said, I'm going to call my doctor because I finally had my own doctor, right? Because now it's time to heal myself physically, mentally, spiritually. I'm really trying hard to do those things so that I can be a complete person, so I can be present for my children and not just here, so I can really be able to interact with them on a better level. And not just do the mundane tasks of taking care of them without making it fun, without making these moments memorable, because they are memorable and they are important. And I just want my children to remember me not always being this sad person, who just isn't fun, who can't run around with them because she's 100 pounds overweight. I'm so sorry. Anyway, back on track. So I called my doctor because it was really bothersome. And so I asked if there was something she could do. Is there some type of test she can run? I had in the past gotten, I believe a thyroid test. And I think one of the thyroid tests was a little off, and then one was just normal. So it was like, okay, whatever, nothing's really wrong with me, right? So this last week I went and got an ultrasound done for my neck, and my doctor called me the other day, and she seemed a little worried that there are not only one mass now, there are two. So now I have to get a biopsy. And when we hear that word, it's kind of like, what is that? I've only really heard that word with people who've had cancers. And I'm praying that all is good, that it's just some type of, I don't know, weirdness, who knows. It's something that can be fixed, hopefully. So I'm not going to worry myself right now until, we have the biopsy and see what the results are. But I wanted to come on here just to say we cannot neglect our health. The logic in my mind was not right. The care for myself was not there at the time. And, as I get older and I grow and I see things for what they are, and I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm not telling myself these lies so that I can feel better inside, so that I can believe my, messed up thinking. So it's kind of like, no, I got to stop these thoughts in its tracks and be real with myself. If you can't be real with yourself, who can you be real with? You know what I mean? Like, this portion of my life is all about transparency. It's all about healing and becoming complete and becoming whole, because I know that I have all the tools that I need inside of me to heal myself. And I think it's so important. I can't drive that home enough. That mental health is really important for us, and mental health matters, because with that mental health, everything else will deteriorate. You know what I mean? Like, without strong mental health, without being healthy in the mind, everything else will just deteriorate because your mind makes the decisions to neglect your body. Your mind makes the decisions to neglect your soul. You know, it tells you what you want to do, and then, you know, either you're going to fight your mind back or you're going to do what it says and become a shell of a person if you suffer with mental illnesses. And I'm trying to combat that, these thoughts and these words that they tell me that I'm not good enough. And not only am I getting the help with my neck issue, again, you know, this channel is also about my bypass journey that I am trying to that I'm going on. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm on that journey. So I'm just currently doing some classes. You know, you have to complete these classes, you know, before you get the surgery, just, you know, to be informed, to change your eating habits, and everything like that. And, you know, eating habits, they go deep. It's so crazy what we learn, right? Like, I knew that some of my eating habits I've struggled with eating habits, pretty much my whole life. I can only remember being like a skinny girl, like when I was like really young, you know, like elementary school years. And then I started gaining weight around 5th grade, like, gaining more weight than average, obviously. And I've been kind of, you know, plump ever since that time. Yeah. And, my relationship with food. And I think, like, it also has to do with our, you know, upbringing too. So I grew up in, you know, not the best part of town. We didn't have a lot of money. Like, I was with my real family until about 13. So, you know, growing up, I was living with my grandma, between family members, honestly, my mom, my grandma, my aunts. We just been between whatever, but majority was spent with my grandma, and yeah, she worked hard. My grandma worked as hard as she could. And, you know, there were bills to pay, so we didn't always have enough food, right? And I think we get a mindset when we are brought up in a position of not having enough of anything, you know, food, love, anything. And so once we get a hold of certain things, we tend to hold on longer, and we tend to hold on tighter. And, you know, that tightness, you're gripping and you're gripping. And I just remember as a little girl, I used to remember saying to myself, oh, I can't wait till I get big and I can eat anything I want to eat. I mean, there were times where I wanted something sweet, right? And I would make syrup sandwiches because all we had was maybe some bread and some syrup and other condiments. You know, get closer to the end of the month, you don't have much. So you make do and you make up crazy things. I've had syrup sandwiches, I've had sugar sandwiches. And of course it sounds horribly unhealthy. And of course, I'm pretty sure it is horribly unhealthy, but I just remember taking a bite of that syrup sandwich and that sugar and that sweet, and it would make me feel so good inside. Anytime I would have a cake, I would get so happy inside. And honestly, I never talked about this with anyone until more recent, like maybe a year. It's been about maybe a year since I've actually talked about my relationship with food. And to be completely honest, because it's embarrassing a little bit, right? Like you have this relationship with food. And so I would crave these cakes and cookies and sweets so bad. Like, I mean, literally would be sad crying if I couldn't have them as a child. Now it was like, as an adult, I would just get real angry if I didn't feel like going to get them, or if my partner like didn't feel like going to the store because it was kind of late and I didn't want to go out myself, wouldn't go get them. Like, I would get legit mad at them. And I had to like really take a second to say, that is not normal, Regina. Like, what are you doing? Are you really this angry because you can't have a donut? Like, that is a problem. Something is wrong, right? So when I first decided I would talk to my therapist about it, she had explained to me that the sugar releases, a false sense of, happiness, that serotonin that makes us feel good. And it tends to go to that part of the brain, that impulse control that, people use when they drink alcohol, where they want to. And so I have been using food like a drug, obviously. And food here in America is really not the best for us. So saying that, my relationship with food has been very complicated. And when I was about 15, 16, I was in foster care at that time. I was disgusted with myself. I was disgusted with myself at 13 when I went into care. I went into a group home. And I remember when I first got there, I wouldn't really eat, or I would like hide myself when I ate because I used to eat kind of fast, right? And I just remember my older sister used to say stuff to me like, it's not going anywhere. But then you have to understand, when you come from a place where you don't have much and you kind of like, I don't know, you just do. Maybe you eat faster, maybe you have. So I was really ashamed and embarrassed when I went into the group home. And I didn't want people to make fun of me. I had been made fun of a lot of times in my life. And I didn't want these strange kids making fun of me, because kids are really mean. So I wasn't eating much. And so this is when I first got there. And I remember my grandma called and she said, hey, I'm going to bring your favorite. We're going to come for a visit. I'm going to bring your favorite. And my favorite at the time, it was shrimp. And so she was like, I'm going to bring shrimp. And I remember one of the counselors or resident advisors, whatever you call them, told me, well, you're not going to get any shrimp because you won't eat here. You keep going like this, you're going to have to go to the hospital, right? And I'm about 13 then, right? And so I'm already like almost 200 pounds at 13. So whatever, right? So I really wanted the shrimp though, that my grandma was gonna bring. So I was like, well, I have to think of something because I want the shrimp. So when we went down to like the dining hall, I took a napkin and I placed it like in front of my face while I'm eating, right? So no one could see me. And people were talking. Of course they were talking. Why is she being weird, right? And whatever else. So, but I got my shrimp, right? Again, I was so happy about that. Anyway, a couple years later, around 15, I'm in high school, you know what I mean? You see the girls in high school, girls that I was around, they were pretty. They were small. They weren't as big as me. They were skinny. Or you even see the girls in the magazines and the videos, and they were small and they were skinny, but they were really pretty. And I used to just think about it, like, I want to look like them. If I look like them, then, you know, I could get more things in life. I know that sounds messed up, but I seen it before that, you know, I just felt like pretty girls got more and slim girls got more, and I wanted to be small and I wanted to be slim. And a lot of little slim girls I saw, they kind of like, it felt like they took control of their lives. I know that sounds crazy, but at 15, a lot had happened to me and I was just really down about myself. And I used to think, well, if I was slim and in charge of my life, then those people can't hurt me because they take advantage of me. They hurt me because I'm fat, and they tell me stuff like nobody's gonna ever want to be with me anyway, and that I should be happy that, you know, that they want to be with me, or whatever the situation was. You know, I was a secret, but I was good enough in secret, but not good enough in public. And at 15, that really does something to you. And so I used to want to be like small and pretty. And I used to be like, I wish I could be pretty, and I wish I could be small. And so I started to make myself throw up food, because if, I can get the food out, then the weight will go down, right? That was my logic again. Not having any real guidance. I'm just going through this thing, and that was what I came up with in my mind. So I started eating a lot and causing myself to throw up. Anything I would eat, I would just go in the bathroom and throw up. Yeah, so I did that for a while, but then my throat started hurting really bad. I have some gastro issues now, I'm sure that the anxiety played a lot into that, but I'm sure that period of my life played into a lot of that too. Because obviously that vomit had a lot of acid in it. That, of course, I didn't know that at 15, and it eroded, I'm sure it eroded some of my throat. And all other stuff, so I did that for a while. I did that for I think 2 years, honestly, before I stopped doing that. And then I was just like, it's not working. I'm still fat. I rarely eat anything, and I'm still fat. So I guess this is just what it is. I'm just going to be fat. And I mean, I had a boyfriend. It was a shitty boyfriend, but I had one. And, that linked into me wanting to feel wanted, me wanting to feel loved. I just had never felt loved. As a child, as a teenager, I kind of just felt like I was out there, I belonged to the universe. I didn't feel like I belonged to anyone in particular. I felt like, I didn't know my dad. I don't even know what he looks like. My mom, she didn't really want to deal with me. And I used to think, what's so wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? What can I do better? I get good grades. I was pretty much an A student. I was always great in school. I was the best possible student I could be. But it just wasn't enough. So it made me feel like nothing I ever was going to do would be enough, and I'm 30 now. And I'm just understanding that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I am enough. I am enough for me. And I'm enough for my children. And I'm enough for the people that belong in my life. And so I know that kind of went different way, but it all ties into health. It's all a big part of health. Again, we all need to be sure to take care of ourselves, our bodies, our lives. I don't know what anyone else believes, but right now in this moment, this is all we've got. And, I want to watch my kids grow up. I want to see them become great people. I want to see their contributions to, the universe. I want to be here present in the moment for them. And that all starts with me being real with myself and taking control of my health. I'm just excited about that. I'm excited that I'm on this path, that I am healing myself. I'm excited that I'm sharing it with other people, that if this can just help any person to know that no matter what, they matter, they are enough, and that they need to take control of their lives, I'm doing a good deed. I'm doing my part. That's all I want to do, is do my part and to make someone else feel good about themselves. Just remember, guys, you're not alone. I am here. We are here together. We are going through things together. Everyone is. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for listening to me. Justice for Breonna Taylor. I'm going to say that. Fuck Tory Lanez. Good night.